guys, Liz here with another video for you, and today I'm going to be doing a Halloween inspired mani using some Sparkle Infusions. This is some of their first dips. This is actually the first collection that they put out, their last year's Halloween collection, and I just love it. It's still available on their website if you are interested in this color, but this glitter is just really beautiful and I still have a ton of it. I've used it in a few manis, but yeah, but I still have a lot of it, so I was planning on doing another mani this year with this because it's just a beautiful glitter and I really love it. And I'm also using their Just Black dip, which is a great black. If you need a good black, this is a great buy, and you can get it with my code, I think for just over $4, $4.50, somewhere around there. So that's 20 off Nail Nerd if you're interested in any of these products. They also have a great line of Halloween dips that they put out this year. So if you're interested in any of that, make sure that, yeah, you look it up on their website and use my code if you decide to get anything. That helps me out just a little bit. So I do appreciate it when you use my codes. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. I think I'm gonna do these 3 fingers with the glitter, and I'm gonna try to do this in one dip. So I'm trying to get as many of these glitters, kind of shaking them to the top, the big glitters. A lot of times when I do this or try to do like one solid layer of glitter, I might have like an empty spot that I have to come back and kind of just place one glitter or whatever. This one, that one looks like it got really good coverage on that first one. So I'm just gonna take my little piece of baggie and push it down just to get those glitters flat. But the glitters on the edge, I might just kind of leave those, and once they are once they're pretty much glued on there, I'll just take my cuticle nippers and clip off the parts of it that I don't need, and that way I've got a little bit of glitter all over my nail. All right, so again, we're going to do the same thing with these other 2 nails. So I'm going to give that a little bit of time to dry on my fingers. So I'm going to go ahead and do black on these 2 nails. I will need this a little bit later, but I'm just going to put it off to the side for right now to make sure that it doesn't get knocked off or anything like that. And go ahead and start with my Just Black. With black, to try and make sure that you don't get too much like covering your cuticles. It's just so hard to get out of that little cuticle area. So if you have a lot of problems with that, what you can do is put a layer of glue. I showed how to do that in another one of my videos. But if you just try and steer clear of that area and pour over instead of dipping in, it usually helps to not get quite as much of that powder around in your cuticle. And then I'll give you a few tips, so a few other tips to clean up at the end of the video, so make sure that you stay tuned for that. All right, so I mean right here you can see I did get a little bit in my cuticle area, so you can just take a toothpick, whatever you are using to clean up, and just kind of clean that out. as you go. But again, I mean, right now I'm steering way clear of my cuticles. And then, you know, I do want to get a little bit closer, but for that first dip, I'm staying away from it, making sure that I'm not getting anywhere near there right now. I'm gonna do a couple of dips, and this black is pretty good coverage, so you know, just doing that last dip right at the cuticle should be fine. Brush that one off, go to my next one. And again, I cannot find my finger stand. I have no idea what happened to it. But again, I'm gonna go just right outside of that, trying to steer clear of getting any of the base near my cuticles. Do one more dip. I don't really know that it needs it, but just to make sure that I get good coverage.
Perfect.
Missed a spot right there, so yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to do a third one over here as well. I don't know, for some reason I did not do very good at getting that base on the sides there. One more dip here. Okay, so now I'm gonna try to get as close as I can to my cuticle without actually touching it with the base. Sometimes just kind of, I find doing my brush like this and just kind of very barely getting that outside edge with the edge of the brush kind of helps me to get that area right there without touching my cuticle too much. Because sometimes when I'm pushing back, I end up pushing too much base. I don't know, that's kind of side swipe that I do like that. I feel like it kind of just helps me keep control of where that liquid is going a little bit better. Does that make sense? Right. So I'm gonna wipe, try and make sure that that base is nice and thin. All right, so sometimes kind of cleaning as you go like that can kind of help to keep that cuticle area clean. All right, so I just have one more dip to do on here and we're done. Still missed a spot right there. Put this to the side. Boop. Make sure this is closed so I don't get this all over the place. All right, so now I want to just clip off all these glitters around here. All right, so now if there are any spots that you see that don't have glitter on there, or any spots that you want to add more glitter, then what you'll do, like really there's just this one spot right here that looks like it didn't get. The rest of them, like I'm gonna be putting some, you know, that ombre on the outside of this, so I think, and I'm gonna be stamping over it as well, so I think this is gonna be good for that. But this one is just gonna be full glitter, so right here is just really the only place that I maybe need to add a little bit glitter, since that's just gonna be full glitter. So I could just add one big glitter, or if I want to just add some little glitters, then I'm just gonna put some base on there and then just tap it in just right there where I need that glitter. All right, and this is kind of a big old pile up of glitter right here. Let me just try and see if I can't take a few of those off. Not making it look too bad. I think that should be fine. All right. All right, so I'm gonna put this glitter off to the side, and we're gonna start with our clear. Kind of wanted to do a clear glow. Just have a couple of options. So Hand Grenade is from Nola Dips, and it is a clear glow. I love their clear glows, but you do want to just limit it to one coat of clear glow. If you're doing 2 coats of clear, you're going to want to do a clear, just a regular clear first, and then do your clear glow. So this one might have 2 dips of clear, and these are going to have probably a couple of dips of clear. So I'm going to do just a regular dip, clear dip first. So here is my clear dipping tray. I put it in this recycling tray because if it gets contaminated, I'm just using a little bit at a time, so I can dump it out. So let's see, this one got a little contaminated. So since it's just a little bit, I don't mind just dumping that out and starting with some clean clear dip. Got my Just Clear from Sparkle Infusion. It is really good clear dip. So I really like this one. So this one's just gonna get 2 dips of clear. And the reason that I do 2 dips of clear on a chunky glitter is to make sure that when I file and shape that I'm not going to file off any of those glitters. And usually the chunky glitters need a little bit more clear dip. And this one is the Just Clear from Sparkle Infusion is super clear. So I never have any problems with it getting cloudy if I need to do 1 or 2 dips of their clear. So I'm just going to just tap it just to get enough to cover that nail. I don't want to use too much of my clear dip in this recycling tray again, you know, just so you know, if it gets contaminated, then I can just dump it out. So that didn't really use a whole lot in there, so I'm gonna do my next nail and use it straight from the jar again. Actually, this one's just gonna get 1 dip of clear. So we're gonna do our clear glow. I was gonna put a few glitters on here. I completely forgot about that. So let's just do a few glitter placement. Oh, crap. Let's see, what am I gonna do? Let's just do a kind of a glitter ombre. Try and get some of these glitters. I just want some of the small glitters right now. And tap those on there. And then make sure those are nice and flat. Dip it in just a tip to get a little bit more of those glitters. Tip of it. And then I'm going to make sure the rest of it gets clear. work. All right. Now this one is going to just get the clear glue. All right, let's push that to the side so we don't get anything in it. With my clear dips, I like to use a stiff brush, make sure that it gets nice and dry, and then get as much of it off with a stiff brush. And these toothbrushes still do work pretty well, but this makes sure that it gets all of the loose powder off, and that also makes sure that it doesn't get cloudy while you're doing this. Okay, so this is my second. Don't know that I'll need a third layer of clear, so I'm going to go ahead and do the glow. All right, so this one, because the glitters are pretty flat, I should just need one more coat of clear. All right, so now we're gonna do our ombre with the black. All right, so for this type of ombre that I'm gonna do, I like to use these smaller, more compact brushes, not the really fluffy ones. So these are a little bit denser, and yeah, so you can like really scrub in the color with this. So we're going to start with a layer of clear, because I really want to be able to see that glitter. Trying to make sure that the base is getting on there as thin as possible. But still covering all the glitter. Okay. So just regular clear first. Right, I'm going to tap that off. And since it is still wet, you want to be very careful and just kind of tap that color around the outside of your nail to kind of get that color just on the nail. You notice that that powder is starting to dry a little bit more, then you can start really scrubbing that color around the nail. All right, so that first round might not get a whole lot of color in there, but that's okay. We did get a little bit of the black around the edges. That first pass is really just to get that kind of very light halo effect towards the middle of the nail. Okay. So we're going to do the same thing with this next one. I do have enough in here now to recycle it. And on the outside here, try and get that off first. And then I'll start tapping around the outside. I didn't get any base at all right there. All right, so again, this first pass, you want to kind of get it as much towards the middle as you want it to be. Did I say that we have an air show going on close to our house? Oh my goodness, they're so loud. All right, that might have been a little bit too far out to the middle there, but all right. But yeah, no, it looks good. So we're gonna do the clear glow next. If I do think that I need another round of clear, then I'll just do the regular clear. And that way the glow, you'll be able to see the glow really well, and it won't be, I won't be filing it off. All right, so once you get this base on there, you should be able to see a little bit better, you know, to like how much of that black you have on there. So I did get a little bit around the edge, but not too much. It's okay again. That's all right. We can do a third time if we need to. Tap that off. And start by tapping around very quickly. And kind of start scrubbing it in a little bit. Get this time trying to stay more towards the outside as you're scrubbing, because this is just to kind of darken up that outside edge to make it look more like that ombre, to give it more of that ombre effect. All right. Now we're going to do this nail again. Just to make sure it got a good halo effect. Oh, don't know. And just to make sure that I don't like file off too much of that halo effect, because with those glitters, there's a few spots that it looks like I'm gonna need to file a good bit around the outside edge there. So I'm gonna do one more round of just regular clear. Really making sure that I'm gonna get out at the outside edge that time. is Clear Glow, has a little bit of glitters in it and stuff. So we're gonna try sifting it through one of these bags. I don't really know if this is gonna work that well, but everybody's got these bags. Your dip powder always comes in these little organza bags and nobody really knows what to do with it. This is one way to make these bags useful. You can just sift your powder through it and it should get, you know, some of those glitters out at least. So you have a lot more clear powder, doesn't have so much trash in it. Or if you're wanting to sift out the clear or just get some glitters, you can do that. Or if you have a dip powder that has foils, or and you just want the base color, you can sift it out and do that as well. This one, my black powder did get a little bit of stuff in it as well. So I'm gonna sift it through here to get some of those big pieces out and glitters and everything. So see, I've got a bunch of trash in there and glitters that I sifted out, and this should be a little bit more, a little bit cleaner, but you know, if you don't want to put it back into your clean jar, I get these little jars at the Dollar Tree, and you know, you can pour powder that, and I can still use this. I mean, I can use it probably for a regular mani and it'd probably be fine. But I mean, if I wanted to do ombres or something like that, where it's gonna kind of get messy anyway, then I can use this instead of using my clean powder. That black does get everywhere too, into every nook and cranny, and sticks onto everything and makes everything look really bad. But I find that just using, this is a spray bottle with alcohol, just kind of spraying some of this down with alcohol gets most of that color off of your workspace. If it doesn't, if your workspace can take it, you might want to do like, you know, test a little spot first, but you can use acetone as well to clean up any spots that aren't coming up with the alcohol, but most of it should come up with the alcohol. But again, you know, make sure that you test, because the acetone is a lot stronger of a chemical and it will like eat away color and stuff. All right, so now you want to activate the crap out of this. I usually do use like a lot of activator, and this is, you know, with stuff like this, especially like when you're using a lot of clear, to make sure that you get through all those layers of dip powder and base and everything, make sure that everything is nice and dry. You want to make sure that you use lots of activator, and then you may want to wait a few minutes to make sure that it completely dries all the way through before you start filing and buffing. So this will also, you know, help to make sure that all of those layers of clear don't get cloudy. Using enough activator to make sure that everything is activated and cured properly. All right, so I'm gonna give that a little bit of time to dry, and then I will file and buff. For the most part, I just want to shape. I shouldn't really need to do too much buffing or take off too many layers. Don't have too many bumps. I do tend to try and make this a little bit more of a smoother transition. Some of these look okay, like this one looks all right. I might have to take just a little bit off the back, but for the most part, they're pretty much what I'm going for already. So I just want to buff them just a little bit and then shape it up a little bit. I'm going for kind of a tapered square shape here. So yeah, so just trying to get the sides really nice and flat. And I do kind of look at it from every angle while I'm filing to make sure that I'm getting everything the way that I want it to look. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and turn on this. This is my new dust collector from Melody Susie. I do really like this dust collector. It works really well. And I did get some extra filters so I can change this out when this looks kind of bad. This is what the internal looks like, and but it does get kind of loud, so I'm gonna, yeah, not talk while I'm doing all this. All right, so another thing that you can do for any of this that you still have around here, before you top coat, you want to make sure that you kind of get that out, because you don't want the top coat to encapsulate any of this powder that got around your finger. So just taking one of these, this is a crystal or glass cuticle pusher, and just taking that and kind of rubbing it around your cuticle area to get any of that black powder out from around your cuticle area. You can also use some alcohol. This tissue. So just like you cleaned up the powder on your table or your area, cleaning area, you can just kind of use the alcohol to clean up any that you got in your cuticle area. Sometimes a combination of both really helps, because if you kind of got any base in there and it's stuck to the base, kind of using that crystal file to kind of get it up first, and then using the alcohol to really get it out. See, that one looks good. Let's see. That one's pretty deep in there, so just using the crystal file. Yeah, it looks like it's kind of stuck on there with some base. So using that to clean that off, get it out of there. And then using the brush to make sure that I get all of that kind of dug out of there. If it's just on your skin, it should kind of start coming off in a couple of days, but you know, if you want it off that day, you want to make sure that you clean it up or get it off that day. And some of these techniques will help. Sometimes just taking a regular file on just your skin will help get off any dip powder or base that you have on the side of your nails. You want to do that, you know, just on the kind of tips of your finger. You don't want to do it on this skin back here, because this skin is just way too sensitive and you'll just eat it up with the file. I did already a little bit on that cuticle, but that's why we have cuticle oil, because that will help with all of that. But again, like cleaning all this up before you top coat and encapsulate all of this is going to make your cuticles look a whole lot better. So you definitely want to get this all off before you top coat. so I'm gonna activate that all once more, and it should pretty much look like what you want it to look like when you put that activator on there. If anything doesn't look good, you can continue to file and shape it. I feel like I did not get as much of the black powder on there as I wanted. I mean, you can definitely tell a difference between this one and this one, but it just didn't get enough of the black probably around the outside edge. So what we can do what I can do is use a pin to kind of go around the outside edge there. This is I used this in my last video as well. It's kind of a micron pen, waterproof, fade proof. So I didn't have a lot with this one on my last video. Didn't have a whole lot of bleeding with the different chemicals that I used on it. But I should be able to use some alcohol to kind of fade out the edge. Actually, I'm gonna get a thicker, I got a thicker one of these. Should also be able to use just a regular permanent marker. So let's see how that will use. So just on the outside edge of that. And then we're gonna take some alcohol to kind of bleed it out a little bit into the middle. Alcohol dry. So with the colors that I'm using, you don't really notice it, but as it kind of blends out, that permanent marker will kind of have like a purplish tint to it. Let's see if I can do it on here. So yeah, so it's not quite so black when it starts bleeding out. It'll kind of have that a little bit of a purple tint to it. So not really sure if this other pen does the same thing or if it stays more black. It looks like it stays more black. Great, so this one's a Pigma, but it's the same kind of ink as a micron, or it's that archival ink. But yeah, I mean, this one stays more black when mixed with the alcohol. I mean, yeah, so see, this one will have more of a purplish tint to it. Let me see if I can show you. And this one will be more black. So yeah, again, with mine, because it's like purple already, it doesn't really matter, but yeah, so it's just either or, whatever you're going for with your mani. So that is much more of the look that I was going for. I'm just making sure that that fade looks okay. I feel like right here, it's not faded as much as I would have liked. All right, so you really just don't want that hard edge on the inside of the nail. You want it to just kind of slowly fade towards the middle. So that is exactly what I was going for. So now I have to decide if I want to just keep it like that, or if I want to stamp over it, because I really like the way that it looks right now. I think I'll just leave it like it is. All right, so should be able just to top coat this like normal. So last is your cuticle oil. This is berry cheesecake from Cuticle Infusion. I like to put a lot of cuticle oil on after I do a mani like this, because all of the filing and buffing and just the products can be really drying on your cuticle oil. So I put a lot on and then just rub it all over my hands, just to make sure that my hands and my cuticles are nice and nourished after a mani like this, and then just let it soak in, give it time to really soak into my skin. So this is the finished mani. And I did end up breaking my wrist and my elbow like an hour after I finished this mani, but I didn't break any nails. This is a week after I finally was able to move my arm enough to actually take pictures of this mani. And there's just a little bit of scuffing on them, but overall these liquids are very durable. These are the chisel liquids. I will link those in the description if you're interested in those. And there is a picture of the glow. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, make sure that you give it a like, subscribe to my channel for more videos like this, and I hope to see you next time.